MLA Achunbemo highlighted the harsh realities of unemployment in Nagaland during the 7th session of the 14th Legislative Assembly, warning that the state cannot rely on an already oversaturated government sector. He recalled how post-COVID returnees were placed in quarantine centers instead of being given jobs, calling it a wake-up call for the policymakers. The MLA criticized overstaffing and lack of accountability in government offices while urging focus on entrepreneurship, sports and private initiatives to generate employment. Proposing reforms in loan accessibility, Achunbemo suggested allowing employees of reputed private institutions to stand as guarantors, reducing dependence on government jobs and supporting entrepreneurship. He urged policymakers to frame a sound economic policy that addresses both educated and uneducated youth, saying that the issue demands urgent, practical solutions.
Well, Speaker, sir, we have already seen the post-COVID-19. Many of our youth came back from the cities, and instead of giving employment, we were looking for a place to accommodate them, how to keep them in the quarantine center. That was actually the main focus, and a lot of resources have been spent by the government. So, yes, it is high time that the policymakers like you and me, like all of us, have to frame a practical policy to tackle both the educated, unemployed youth within the Nagas, figures have been all placed to us, and also the uneducated, unemployed youth. These days, it is very encouraging, Speaker, sir, that many of the uneducated, unemployed youth are actually working in so many workshops, in so many private establishments. This, of late, Naga youths have started realizing that without working, it is difficult to survive, because the days of easy income, the days of joining any faction and earning your livelihood are all gone. The national movement is so dear to us, but so many people have abused that by making it as the livelihood kind of thing. So youth have realized, and it is we, the policymakers, have to give a sense of direction, frame a policy. How do we tackle this rising unemployment? In the morning, we have heard about how the advanced and the backward have started fighting over the quota. It is actually very unfortunate that both the groups have started fighting. Government is now under pressure from both the groups. How do we tackle this? It's all because of the employment issues. But, Speaker, sir, government, as far as government sector is concerned, it is actually overemployed, fully saturated, overemployed. If you go to many offices, you will see a lot of clerks just idling around playing Ludo, Only when they come. And there are people there, hardly they come even once in a month, once in a year. I feel pity for the high-ranking officers here. They'll be all loitering, left alone in the office. The lower ones, they hardly see officers, Speaker, sir. So such is the state of the affairs. Maybe chain of command is not good, or they don't have work at all, overemployed in the offices. This is the situation at the moment. Now, what I'm trying to drive at is, yes, government sector we cannot accommodate. Now, how do we do it? Our honorable member, senior member, ONMA has expounded on various industries, the previous abandoned projects. I'm also on that line. I'm inclined to that idea of reviving those aspects. But one of the most important aspects that I would like to emphasize is on the sports. The recent TAO sports, the football festival, it was very entertaining for all of us. Then the inaugural day, we went with Honorable CM. Then final day, I was out of station. Again, he went. When he came to learn that the prize money was only about 3 lakhs, instantly he enhanced to 5 lakhs. Even that, for me, it's too less. There are 11 players playing in the field. Football team is 11, you are aware. You are also a footballer at what point of time during your school days, probably. So 11 is the team. Now, including the substitutes, the coach, the team manager, the medical team, it is comprising about not less than 30 members, Speaker sir, bringing a football team. What you will do with 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs worth of prize money, and that is supposed to be the state highest trophy. So when we say we encourage our youth to take up sports, we should also find a way how to let them earn from that prize money, or hiring by this and that. But if you're providing only that much, how do we do? So therefore, I think our approach should be practical. So therefore, when I say this, not only football, we have archery, we have wrestling, we have cricket, a lot of scopes are there. And many youths are now taking interest in sports. This is one avenue the government of the day we must focus on, apart from the other suggestions that have been already put forward by the previous speakers or honorable members of this august house. Many have referred about the forest and the excise prison interview. I was collecting some statistics of the figure. If you have 23,000 speakers, applicants, they are collecting, I'm told, 300 per applicant. Now 300 into 23,000 is 70 lakhs. We are under pressure as it is by both, as I said, educated as well as uneducated youth. Now, there is hardly any resources, there is hardly any money with them. Now, if you are collecting money that much resources, how are you going to do that, apply that resources for the good of the people? My suggestion is, collect, if it is so necessary, collect an amount that can be enough for the contact from the beginning till the declaration of the result of the interview. Let us say if it is requiring 10 lakhs for that, the whole process of interview, then per applicant maybe 10 rupees should be enough, or let us say 20 rupees should be enough, because the department requires only 10 lakhs to complete the process of interview. They don't require the entire 70 lakhs. They've already earned that much. How are we going to do that? How are we going to utilize it? I think from our youth, from the educated as well as uneducated youth, when they don't have money, when they are running pillar from pillar to post for their survival, again, if we are training out the resources, it is not fair on our part as a government, as a department, Speaker sir. Now, I was also informed that the people from our friends from Noklak, Mon, Gyeongsang, Kifiri, Longland, they all have to come from their own respective headquarters to submit their form in the capital headquarters here in the office, this headquarters office. Now, what was the necessity? When the world has become so advanced, digitally they can submit online. So if you count that per passenger, per person, per candidate, they must have spent not less than 5,000 to 6,000 to come to Kohima and go back to their respective places, Speaker sir. So how much they have spent? With this, as many of our friends have already suggested that hardly only 100 of them will be accommodated. The rest 23,000 of them will be, 22,000 plus will be chopped out of the interview because of the paucity of the vacancies. That we can't have. Now, we have unnecessarily drained out that much resources. Are we calculating all this? As it is, we are, pressured under that, with a lot of strained resources, our people are surviving. So all this has to entrench with our policy matters. We are a policy maker, and therefore our policy making should be sound. The bureaucrats here should be advising the government very thoroughly how our people are impacting on the economy. I'm only calculating on these small things. There are quite a lot. If you see 2-3 departments going through the interview, how much it may be amounting to? The form submission itself is already with this prison, with this excise and forest amounting to 1 crore. So they have spent around 1 to 2 crore of the to and fro expenditure. So see, these are the problem which policymakers like us should focus. Because the last point I have is, now, there are some educated youths especially who wanted to venture out in taking up entrepreneurial as well as on business, private business. But if they wanted to seek loan from the bank, they would insist that you bring a government servant as a guarantor. That is also encouraging a lot of families that in my family, there is no government servant, I should be given, you should be given. That is the pressure to all of us as politicians. There is no way we can now, appointing by the politicians, the days are over. It has to go through the interview. How do we assure our supporters, our people on the ground? So therefore, my suggestion is, we can all put our heads together and frame a policy where a person employed in the private sector, like if they're employed in a very reputed school, let us say, properly recognized by Government of Nagaland, its education department, and also some of the private sectors, can be empowered as a guarantor to take loan from the bank for their relatives or for their friends to start a business. I think that is also one way of discouraging our people to go for government job, because that is also one of the excuses, reasons that they have. I hope it will not overlap the SARFAISI Act that we have passed, Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act 2002, SARFAISI Act in short, which if we can indent them with this, synchronize with this, and envisage, look for a policy where we can go on that line. This will ease a little bit of attention. That is not the absolute final solution, of course. This is a very vast subject, as I've said. So these are a few points I thought I must submit to this House. Thank you, Speaker.